Okay, so today we will talk about cryptocurrencies, and actually the target audience is beginners who might not really understand what cryptocurrencies are, and then about the different types of cryptocurrencies and the differences among them. Yeah. So my first question will be, so what is a cryptocurrency? And usually what are the misconceptions that people have about the concept?
Cryptocurrencies are another currency like we have dollar, euro. The difference is that they're not being issued by a government state, but are being created by technology and put on the wild. So they do not belong to anybody, at the same time belong to everybody. That's the powerful thing about cryptocurrencies. And cannot be manipulated above the rules that are written in the software that support the cryptocurrency itself. While a government state can print more banknote or can burn and remove from the market banknote, the cryptocurrency is regulated by mathematics and by specific rules, so it's very clear how many can be produced or not, or how, etc., etc. Furthermore, it doesn't rely on pieces of paper. So it is all mathematically safe. So like any fiat currency that has banknotes, the banknotes can be counterfeited, there can be fake dollars around or fake euros and so on and so forth. While it's impossible to have fake cryptocurrency once we know and validate that they belong to the correct blockchain. Blockchain being the technology that makes cryptocurrency possible.
Yeah, and then this is also a very important question, I think. So how does cryptocurrency differ from the fiat currencies? Because like in the fiat currencies, we have the middlemen, the central banks or the governments who can who manage the amount of which the money is being issued, and then the monetary policies, blah blah blah. But then and then how does cryptocurrency run then without this middleman?
Right. There are good and bad aspects related to this. All the regulatory legislation that are around financial systems are supposedly there to protect the citizen, to protect the final user. So if somebody is subject to a scam, there are laws that protect this person from scam, and things can be taken action on. It's also true that central banks have shown to protect the wealthy and not much the poor. And that's the reason why cryptocurrency came to be at the beginning in 2008 when the white paper for Bitcoin was created. Was the year where 2009 was the year where the big bubble of real estate exploded and a lot of people lost a fortune of money. Banks were going to be bankrupt, but the government decided to save because they were too big to fail, using taxpayers' money, right, or printing more of their own currency. So as an answer to this, the creation of a decentralized, which means a system that doesn't have one particular server that can be taken down, but is made in a peer-to-peer network where many servers support the whole system, is like a living animal, cannot be taken down. You can kill one of the thousands of servers and 10 more are gonna raise somewhere else. So it is something that stay there to live, and is a system used to manage the ledger of transactions done with this cryptocurrency. Nobody can decide to do differently from what the rules in the software say, unless the majority of the people running nodes decide altogether to update the software with different rules, which is a very difficult thing to achieve and is the real sense of democracy. Because if the majority of people wanted to change something about the fiat currency issued by the government, by a vote they should be able to do so, while not always is possible. With the cryptocurrency, this is a practical aspect. People can vote by choosing to change the software.
Okay, so what are the roles, not the roles, I mean, what are the functions of cryptocurrency in decentralized transactions?
But obviously, once the people has And in fact, something very interesting, like the possession of money in the practical terms, we live it in two different ways. One is because we have in our wallet, in our pocket, the banknotes, right? So we have the money, which if we think in practical terms, the value of the banknote is a piece of paper. Paper is not very expensive, so nobody would be interested in the banknote if there wasn't the trust on a financial institution or government behind that says, hey, this is the value of this piece of paper, right? And another way to possess money is because we leave it at the bank. And in reality, at the moment, they're not in our hand, because the banking always decide not to give them to us because of some regulation, because of some other things. Once we have a cryptocurrency, we don't have them in our pocket because it's software, it's mathematical things, but we have the keys, we have the password, let's say, that allow us to spend them, while to move them inside this peer-to-peer network. So in the moment that I want to pay for, because I purchase an ice cream rather than a car or a house, I send in the peer-to-peer network the instruction to move some of my funds from my account to another account. This message is sent as the same way that we send an email to the network using an application which is called Wallet, and this transfer the funds, if I have them, from my account to another account. And that's without asking permission to anybody, without the okay from a bank or something else. So it's really giving us the power and at the same time the responsibility, because if by accident I send them to the wrong account, I have nobody I can call to try to reverse the transaction, because there is no middleman, there is no person in behind, there is no Mr. Joseph Bitcoin or Marcel blockchain that are the owners of the system and they can change the data. So we are much more responsible for what we do. If we are drunk at 3 a.m, we see this beautiful woman at the bar and we decide to donate everything to her, we cannot reverse the transaction. If it's done with a bank or with a check, we can probably intercept it and at least plead for cancellation of the transaction, which is always going to possibly happen if motivated properly.
Okay, and then there's also a tricky thing about the password, because like once a person loses the key or the password to his or her account, then like they will lose everything. I mean, like they won't be able to have access anymore to the account.
Right. If I forget the password to access my home banking, I can call the bank and ask them to reset it, right? But because there is no middleman, no central part in a peer-to-peer network for a cryptocurrency, there is nobody that can help me restore or replace this key. So if I lose it, then I lose access to the funds. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are blocked there because the password have been accidentally thrown away and people forgot them, didn't save them properly, etc., etc. There are a lot of systems that mediate this issue. So if somebody use a very well-known wallet that can download from the internet, like from blockchain.com or Mycelium, there are systems for which that people can back up these keys and recover them and need, but there is still always a secret that they need to keep and keep secure because it's forgotten. At the same time, when a system is very well known, like blockchain.com, people is going to receive a lot of fake email, phishing email, or this called phishing email, that are trying to say, hey, we block your account. In order to unlock it, you need to do this, and they're going to steal the key. Once they steal the key, they're able to spend your funds. So it's a very delicate and important thing. And culturally, people are still not very ready to deal with this kind of responsibility that decentralization brings. But it's going to become slowly part of the understanding on how to work online, right?
Yeah, and then this is also a confusion among people. So what's the difference between cryptocurrencies and tokens?
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect. There are different stories around the naming of things, right? Seems that as cryptocurrency came to be with Bitcoin, government were unprepared. At the beginning, they underestimated the power that this thing will bring up. Then they got scared, and a lot of legislation came around using a certain terminology. So changing the name of the same item was a way to go around the legislation. So that if it was forbidden to use cryptocurrency, saying that I'm transferring tokens probably made me safe from breaking the law. At the same time, if you think how you use a cryptocurrency or token is what makes it. So if I go to a coffee shop and I buy a prepaid card for 10 coffees, each coffee is sort of a token that I'm using to reclaim my coffee, right? And this is free market. There is no law that forbids people or shops to do that. So in the moment that people start raising funds, creating a new cryptocurrency on top of another blockchain and distributing this coin, promising that they're going to be much worth much more money in the future, they rather call them tokens to avoid a lot of legal issue. Unless they say, like, it's like if I am going to open my bar, let's say I want to open a bar downtown and I want to raise funds to open the bar, I can pre-sell coffees at a very cheap price, and maybe in large bulk. So I can sell you 1,000 coffee pre-sold that you can resell to somebody else in smaller group of 100, making a profit, and this person can still save money compared to the client that are gonna walk in the bar once it's open. This procedure is in a gray area because coffee cards are legitimate. Using coffee card in big mass in order to raise funds is something that is not regulated properly, and is limbo. So this changed names so many times. But it's also true that cryptocurrency evolved, becoming more intelligent. So in the evolution of the platform, leaving Bitcoin as the pioneer, Ethereum came along with the possibility to program some logic. The programming logic allowed to create a new cryptocurrency on top of the same blockchain that has the main cryptocurrency as the Ethereum. And that's what they were called tokens. And this token can have also a logic. For example, can be traded until a certain date, can be directly exchanges for the main cryptocurrency Ethereum, can be only spent in block of 50, I don't know. So people can add some coding logic to the tokens, while the main cryptocurrency is free in the circulation. So that's another difference in the terminology. That's why then very complex tokens become the NFTs that follow certain other rules and so on and so forth.
Okay, so what are the additional functions which the additional tokens bring to the users on top of the main cryptocurrency used by the platform?
Yeah, as is a code, is limited in what can do, but pretty much can do a lot of things. I can make anything that comes to my fantasy and my brain. For example, I can create some tokens or cryptocurrency, money, call it as you want. They can only be spent Monday and Friday. The other day, they're not going to be able to transact. If you try to spend the money Thursday, it's going to bounce. But Monday, Friday, they work. For example, this is a simple logic that you can add. Or you can only pay this crypto to an account that has a balance of at least 20 of my token. So if I try to send my token to somebody that has 10, I can't. The recipient needs to have at least 20. So, you can create so much logic and so complex logic to the point that decentralized finance has been created. The decentralized finance is offering loans and do many other things using this token because complex logic can be attached to it. So you can do very complex things like financial services.
Oh, okay. And then that's how like the different tokens work to complement each other, or Yeah.
Absolutely. Following certain standards like the RC20 for the classic token, 721 for the NFT, or other codes name that they have a set of compatibility and functionality that are embedded. And so if you create an application that manages several of these or another smart contract or logic in the blockchain to manage several, you can say, I can loan you this crypto if you make a deposit of that crypto, and then you start creating. There are some very interesting tokens that are called stable coins, which represent a fiat currency. So you can have the USDC, which is the US dollar coin, and there is a software that automatically add in the market of burn coin based on the variation of the value of the market for that coin, so that is always worth $1. So in the exchanges there are a lot of what they are called bot, automated software that buy and sell to maintain the value to $1. And /or they can be used for loans and other things that people need to deal with the dollar, because if I make a loan in Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up suddenly, I can find myself in trouble to pay back. If my salary is in US dollars and I want to go in DeFi and make a loan using USDC, I know that my salary is going to match the amount that I want to pay back every month. And in this case, I'm not going to get in trouble because USDC is pegged to the USD in terms of value. In practical terms, because depends on demand and offer in the exchanges, the value is going to stay fixed to $1. So it's interesting the things that can be done with little coding power that smart contract allow. Can you imagine if there is a lot of coding power? The things that can be done are much bigger.
Okay. And when we talk about different functionalities, what about supply chain management or document management? What's the role of cryptocurrencies in these functionalities?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because cryptocurrency brought to the attention to the technicians, if you want, to the technical people, the technology behind them. So Bitcoin, in order to exist, had to solve the problem of existing in a decentralized system. To exist in a decentralized system, they come out with this distributed ledger, which took the name of blockchain. Now, the role of cryptocurrency in systems that are not financial, like document management, titles, medical record, or whatever, is to loan, to give the user, to give access to the technology, not to the cryptocurrency value. So you can remove the cryptocurrency, but you have a technology that in a decentralized manner allow the management of things that are not money. The beauty of this technology, that is the blockchain, is that it brings in the digital world the singularity of a digital asset, which is something that is very important. If I have an MP3 file and I make a copy to 10 of my friends, we're gonna all have the MP3 file to enjoy. But I cannot make a copy of my Bitcoin and give it to 10 friends, because as soon as I give my Bitcoin to one friend, I don't have the Bitcoin anymore. So in a digital world, having something that cannot be copy and paste is extremely important. And this doesn't have to apply only to money. If I have a document, a permission, a voucher, a ticket to enter in a concert, whatever it is extremely important that I'm not copying it, pasting it to make multiple, if I buy a ticket for a concert and I copy and paste and make 100 of them, that will be creating a huge loss and a mess at the entrance of the concert. With blockchain, you can have a free open market where this ticket can circulate, and when is the time to enter in the concert, at the door they're secure that the ticket that they digitally cryptographically break, is one, and cannot copy can exist of it.
Okay. Yeah. So there are several types of cryptocurrencies that we have right now. Bitcoin is the first one, but then after Bitcoin, there are some of the altcoins like Litecoin, Dogecoin, Ether. So can you help us understand like the differences or of these different altcoins and how they come about?
Sure. First of all, the question reverse will be which is the difference between the British pound and the euro and the US dollar, or those are different currency. Some add some technological aspect. As a cryptocurrency came along and people were scared to be caught by the IRS for revenue not declared, rather than people that want to kidnap them because they see they have a lot of money, etc., etc. There was the anonymity, so maintain anonymous, because cash is anonymous. I have a pile of cash with me. If nobody see it, I go around, I spend, paying with cash, and there is no trace of my payments, right? While with cryptocurrency, as much as with the credit card, there is digital trails of money, where they come from and where they go. And with a little bit of intelligence, you can track how much money somebody maneuvered. So one of the first technological advances that people wanted in the cryptocurrency was a system for which transaction remains anonymous, which means I transfer funds from my account to your account, but nobody can see that. And this has been one of the first push for which zero proof transaction being created with the Zcoin, with several others. And that's one practical case for creating a new cryptocurrency with a new functionality, where Bitcoin is 100% transparent and impossible to hide the transaction. Other people created what they call mixers, where several people throw money and then the money get redistributed, so you don't know anymore where they come from and where they go. Other created cryptocurrency more connected to a specific use. For example, IoT devices that have micropayments to do one to the other, they cannot use blockchain and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, where transactions are super expensive, or to do microfinance in poor countries. You need a blockchain that support a lot of transactions with very low fee, scalability, many other things. We are in infancy of this technology, and we are evolving day by day. So there is also this, there is also a lot of people with amazing ideas. They're implementing them, putting them in the market. And then pretty much I believe in a few years, the best are going to create some standards like Ethereum did so far.
Yeah. And then what's the strength of the Ethereum platform actually?
I think the power of Ethereum platform was the possibility to code the logic into the platform, so each person can deploy. People did the silly things, for example, as airline insurances, where you take a flight, you go there is an automated software created on top of the Ethereum, where you put your flight number, you put some money to buy an insurance. If the flight is delayed or cancelled, the blockchain can read this information from some sources, and you are paid a premium because you got damaged by the flight. If your flight goes normally, you lose the premium you paid, and the system makes its own money. And it's been interesting because it's a very simple logic. It's something that keep running 24/7. There can be somebody benefiting from it, or can be public ownership. So it is very nice, and Ethereum really opened universe of possibility, which is a very useful thing because a lot of people can prototype, can prepare concept, but a lot of people realize as well that when is the time to go in production, Ethereum is no more the blockchain to do these things, because you cannot pay $100 fee just to register your insurance for the flight. That's more than the money of the insurance itself. So Ethereum is beautiful to do prototype, to do experiment, to see how things work, to do some DeFi just because it's there. But a lot of clones of those blockchain are coming up to provide a cheaper solution or a second layer solution that are cheaper and faster than the basic core blockchain.
Okay. Oh, I have to check my question list. And regarding regulation, how should the cryptocurrencies being regulated? Or maybe like regulation itself will negate the decentralized nature of those digital money?
No. Law and regulation are always needed, because if somebody does a scam or steal money, you need to be protected. And regulating something is also a way to recognize it. You cannot regulate something and then say it doesn't exist. So in the moment that I want to pay for my house using Bitcoin, I need the government to accept that those are money. And so far two countries in the world declare Bitcoin as a currency that is valid. It's a slow approach. Banks are creating their own cryptocurrencies as well, central banks, in order to compete with the one that are stray in the wild. But regulation are always welcome, in my opinion, if they are there to protect people, not they're there to abuse people, right? So regulation must be done to protect the consumer. Finish. So from a scammer, abuser, you protect the consumer. That's a regulation that is good. If there is a regulation that limits what the consumer can do, then it's not regulation, is fascism.
And what is the current state of cryptocurrency regulation?
I'm not a lawyer, I have no idea. So every country has its own evolution with this. Some countries is more recognized, other countries are more advanced. It's a big question mark.
Okay. Yeah. We can actually do a different podcast featuring a legal expert. I don't know.
I actually know somebody in Jakarta that is a good legal expert on cryptocurrency for the Indonesian market, which is interesting. He sent me a book actually that he wrote on the law and cryptocurrency. And there are also other international lawyers. The funny thing is that the country that's immediately raised walls against cryptocurrency has been the United States. The big advertisement for cryptocurrency was the fact that you can bank the unbanked. So places where people don't even have an ID card. They are cut off from all the financial system. They cannot have a bank account. They cannot apply for a loan. They cannot send payments around. So much that in some countries like Africa, people use the cell phone top up, the phone to send money one to the other, they transfer phone credit. Well, with the blockchain and with Bitcoin, any person in the world can have a sort of a bank account. So cryptocurrency were there to bank the unbanked. While the cryptocurrency unbanked are the Americans, because they cannot do anything with cryptocurrency because their law forbid them to. So it created a new type of unbanked, not the unbanked from the financial institution, but the unbanked from cryptocurrencies are the citizens of the United States, which are highly forbidden to do even simple operation on with cryptocurrencies. But that's until regulation are going to balance out around the world. Just to say that the difference of regulation from a country to another are huge. You go from Singapore, where the government is supporting in full any adoption, use, integration with their central bank, to countries where you cannot even pronounce the term cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or blockchain, and you're immediately pointed as a criminal.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my next question will be, what are the current limitations of the currently existing cryptocurrencies, especially in terms of safety and security?
Limitation are for cryptocurrency at the moment is about scaling. It's difficult to have a cryptocurrency that can compete with the amount of transaction the MasterCard, Visa are processing daily. So to become very functional, they should be able to support a million or billion transaction daily and at the high speed and a very cheap fee, which is something that is not yet implemented. It requires sharding, requires subset of nodes. It's a very complex thing. But as I was saying, we are in the infancy. In terms of security, depends on the use of the blockchain. But if you look at the quantity of attention the Bitcoin has, even though the system has flaws, it remains protected simply because it's so overwhelmingly covered and protected by the miners currently there. So it depends on the use of the blockchain. There are different challenges that are put in place, and some overcome, some not. Some minor blockchain get hacked. Again, the consensus system is played in order to manage to double spend money to use the same currency twice, which is the biggest nightmare for a blockchain. It does happen. It did happen. It's gonna happen. It doesn't happen to the huge one. Happen to the small one. So better security consensus mechanics need to take place. Need to be implemented for minor blockchain or for blockchain that don't have too much to do with finance and cryptocurrency.
Okay. And when a new cryptocurrency is being created, how programmers build it from the already existing tokens, or
most of the time the full blockchain are clone one of the other with some small changes. If you look at dogecoin is a clone of Bitcoin, litecoin is a clone of Bitcoin, and hundreds of others that become cloning of Ethereum. People clone other. The first project that there was no clone was the Next, and it was a very beautiful project on proof of stake. Many other code from zero, which is a very difficult path because coding the centralized system is complex, simply because it's not easy to test, to monitor, but things that get done anyway.
Okay. And what does the process of developing new crypto coin look like?
If it is a token in Ethereum, it's really a 5-minute process. It's a piece of code that gets deployed in the blockchain. Once you pay the fee, it's done. If it is a full cryptocurrency with its own blockchain, is quite more complex, because we say the coding, there is also the deployment of the infrastructure, which is complex. You need to have very different people running nodes. It's not an easy task.
Yeah. And I think this is my final question, because again, like the decentralized finance and technology is still in infancy. What are the advances or progresses which we can expect coming in the years to come?
Surely scalability, different users like the centralized storage for data or messaging, or a lot of other things that run on top of it, and also all the off-chain aspects, so all the wallet, the key management, and making it user-friendly, much more user-friendly that it is now. Now you still need to be a little bit geeky to understand how to operate the transaction on blockchain. In the moment that my mom can use it with the same difficulty or even less than using the internet banking, then we're gonna have a big victory in that terms.
Okay. So I think it will be a great topic next week if we can talk about the interface readabilities, that the term you use, or like just how easy or difficult it is to use these platforms, in terms of adoption. Okay, Roberto. So thank you very much, and see you again in the next podcast. Bye.